Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a character today, a fascinating story.
Oh, yeah. Who are we looking at?
Regulus Black.
Sirius's brother.
Yeah, exactly. And, at first glance, you think, oh, another Death Eater, hardcore, loyal to Voldemort.
Right. Follows the family line.
But there's so much more to it. We're going off this article on the Wizarding World website.
Oh, cool.
And it paints this picture of him becoming a true hero, though kind of an unsung one.
Interesting. Like hiding in plain sight kind of hero.
Yeah, exactly. So let's start with his family. Grimmauld Place.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
The Blacks. Pure blood mania, you know the drill.
Intense.
Can't imagine growing up there was a picnic for either Sirius or Regulus. But Sirius, he rebelled. Rejected everything they stood for.
Right. Total opposite, but Regulus.
He's the one who becomes like the perfect son.
Ugh. Yeah. You can just picture it. The pressure, all those expectations.
And there's this quote. Sirius says he was a much better son.
Oof. Sounds more like a jab than a compliment coming from Sirius.
Yeah, there's definitely some bitterness there. You can almost hear it in his voice.
Totally. It really shows how different their reactions were,
Yeah.
to that whole suffocating Black family thing.
Exactly. And it makes you think, did all that pressure to be the perfect Black, did that push Regulus towards Voldemort?
It's possible. I mean, remember those newspaper clippings Hermione finds?
Oh, yeah, at Grimmauld Place.
The ones showing, like, even as a kid, Regulus is fascinated by Voldemort and his ideology.
Chilling, right. To see how early that started.
Yeah. Like, it reminds you how seductive those dark ideologies can be.
Especially, like, if you're looking for acceptance, trying to belong.
Yeah, if that's all you've ever known.
And speaking of those clippings, they really highlight how much Voldemort's influence was everywhere.
Oh, totally.
It wasn't just raw power, it was deeper. Tapping into that fear, the prejudice, stuff that had been brewing for generations.
Right. Makes what Regulus does later even more incredible.
Yeah, for sure. But before we get to that, we got to talk about the turning point. And Kreacher, the house elf, he's key.
Oh, yeah. Kreacher spills the beans.
He reveals the whole secret mission, Regulus's bravery.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, quick recap for anyone who needs it. What exactly went down with Kreacher and Voldemort?
Yeah, remind us.
So, Voldemort wants to test the defenses around one of his Horcruxes.
Okay.
And he decides to use Kreacher. Takes him to this hidden cave, forces him to drink this awful potion.
The one that, like, amplifies fear and all that?
Exactly. Pure despair. Then he strands Kreacher on this island surrounded by Inferi.
Wait, Inferi?
Right, sorry. Not everyone's a Harry Potter encyclopedia. Basically, they're corpses, but reanimated by dark magic.
Oh, yuck. Like zombies.
Kind of, but more decayed and driven by this insatiable hunger for living flesh.
Ugh, that's a grim. So Voldemort's using them to guard his Horcruxes.
Yeah, his most valuable possessions, including, as we find out, this particular Horcrux.
So he basically leaves Kreacher to die. Horrible. But Kreacher escapes, right?
He does. House elves, remember, they have their own kind of magic, different from wizards.
Right. They can apparate places wizards can't.
Exactly. And Regulus, being close to Kreacher, probably knew that.
So that's how Kreacher gets back. But how does Regulus figure it all out?
Well, he pieces it together bit by bit. He knows where Kreacher was taken, sees how messed up Kreacher is, and most importantly, he knows his own family, their history. So he puts it all together and makes this brilliant deduction. The locket in the cave, it's not just any object. It's a Horcrux.
And a Horcrux, for anyone who needs a quick explainer.
It's basically an object that holds a piece of a wizard's soul, making them super hard to kill.
Right. Voldemort's whole immortality thing.
Exactly. And Regulus, being a Death Eater, would have known about Horcruxes, even if the details were hush-hush.
Okay, so he figures out the truth. What does he do with that information?
This is where we see Regulus's true character shine through. He comes up with his daring plan, not just to steal the Horcrux, but to try and destroy it.
Wow. He understands what Voldemort has created, right? The significance of it all.
He totally gets it. Knows these Horcruxes are the key to Voldemort's immortality and to his reign of terror.
And this is where we see his change of heart, right? He's not just a Death Eater anymore.
He's making a stand.
Deciding to take on Voldemort, even though it means certain death.
What drives a person to make that choice?
Big question, right? What changes his mind so drastically?
The article kind of leaves us hanging on that one, which, I don't know, I find kind of cool. We get to piece it together ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, we know he saw a Horcrux being made. That's got to be disturbing.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe that was enough to see how truly messed up Voldemort's magic is.
Yeah. It's one thing to hear about it, another to actually witness it.
Like seeing the true face of evil.
And realizing, oh crap, I've been on the wrong side this whole time.
It's like a moral awakening. Suddenly, the consequences of his choices become real.
Totally. He sees Voldemort for what he is, a tyrant obsessed with power.
And in that moment, Regulus chooses compassion, self-sacrifice, over saving himself.
Amazing. And the impact of that choice, though it was hidden for years, is huge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, without Regulus figuring out the Horcrux secret, taking steps to weaken Voldemort, who knows how the war would have ended.
Right. It's easy to overlook his contribution, since he died before the final battle, and his actions were a secret for so long.
Totally.
But think about it. Regulus set off a chain of events that led to Voldemort's downfall.
That's true.
If he hadn't stolen that Horcrux, left clues for others to find, Voldemort might have been invincible.
It makes you think, doesn't it? History is full of these seemingly small actions.
Done by people who make tough choices.
Often at great personal cost. And without any guarantee of recognition.
And speaking of recognition, we can't forget Kreacher.
Oh, yeah, right.
He not only escapes that cave, but carries out Regulus's last wish.
Guarding that real Horcrux.
It's eventually helping to destroy it.
Kreacher's loyalty is incredible.
I know. He goes from being a symbol of servitude, bound by magic and tradition, to this symbol of defiance.
And unwavering devotion.
Like Regulus's kindness, his respect for Kreacher's life, it sparked something, a rebellion.
It's like that act of kindness woke something up in Kreacher.
And that spark, it turns into a raging fire at the Battle of Hogwarts.
Oh, absolutely. Remember that scene? Kreacher leading the house elves into battle?
Yeah.
Fight. Fight for my master, defender of house elves.
Chills.
Fight the Dark Lord in the name of brave Regulus. Fight.
It's such a powerful moment, seeing these creatures who are often ignored and mistreated
Rise up.
to fight for what's right.
Inspired by a wizard who treated them with dignity.
It's not just a battle cry, it's a testament to something, to kindness, I guess, and courage. Even if the world never knew about what Regulus did, it had a huge impact on those who knew him, inspired them to fight for a better world.
It really makes you think about the choices we make, the ripples they create.
Even small acts of kindness, of standing up for what's right, they can have huge consequences. Regulus's story shows us that heroism, it's not always about some grand title or public recognition. Sometimes it's in the quiet choices we make, the sacrifices we endure, even if nobody ever sees.
That's a good point. And even though he died years before the final battle, Regulus becomes a symbol of hope, doesn't he?
Definitely. He reminds us that even in Voldemort's inner circle, there were people who resisted, who fought back. His story really messes with those categories we put people in.
Good versus evil. Death Eater versus Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, it forces us to acknowledge how complex people are, the potential for good, even in those who seem to have chosen darkness.
That's powerful.
And that brings us to a really interesting thought.
Okay.
Regulus' story challenges the way we usually think about history, the narratives we tell.
How so?
We tend to focus on the big names, the obvious heroes. But what about the people behind the scenes, the unsung heroes?
Whose contributions might go unnoticed?
Their stories might never be fully told.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Makes you wonder how many other Regulus Blacks are out there, how many people have made a difference but we never hear about them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, history is full of these hidden figures. People who defy expectations, they challenge the stories we've always been told. Their actions might not make the front page news, but they shape things, the world, in ways we might never fully understand.
It's not just like big historical stuff either, right? I mean, it happens every day in our own lives.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about it. Teachers who go above and beyond, volunteers helping people, your friends, family, they're there for you when you need them. We don't always see those efforts, but they matter.
Totally. It's a good reminder to, look deeper. Appreciate those little acts of courage and kindness. The stuff that happens all around us.
Yeah, we get so caught up in the big, dramatic things. But sometimes the real heroism is in the everyday stuff.
Exactly. The choices we make to be better, to do better.
And Regulus's story really makes you think about what a hero even is,
Yeah, it's not so simple.
He wasn't perfect, made mistakes, was drawn to that dark side for a while, but in the end, he chose to stand up for what he believed in, even when it meant losing everything.
It's a good reminder that being a hero isn't about being perfect or always good.
It's about making those tough choices, even when it's scary.
Facing injustice, taking action. It's recognizing that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter how small it seems.
So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into Regulus Black, what's the one thing you hope people listening take away from this?
I think the biggest thing is never underestimate the power of individual choice. Even when the world seems full of darkness and crap, one act of courage, one decision to do the right thing, it can change things.
It can have a huge impact.
Regulus's story shows us that anyone can make a difference, that hope can win, even when things seem impossible.
Well said. And to everyone listening out there, we hope you keep exploring these stories, keep questioning things, and keep believing that even the smallest act of courage can make the world a better place.
And maybe, just maybe, you'll find a little bit of Regulus Black inside yourself. That spark of defiance, the willingness to stand up for what's right, no matter what.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Regulus Black. Until next time, keep learning, keep thinking, and keep believing in the power of even the smallest acts of courage and compassion. It's like, what other stories are out there waiting to be uncovered?
Right, hidden heroes everywhere, people who made a difference quietly, courageously, but they never got the credit.
Yeah. It's kind of humbling, Makes you realize history is full of those folks. People who go against the grain, they challenge everything we thought we knew.
Their stories, they might not be in the history books, but they're shaping things, the world. And we might never even know the half of it.
And it makes you want to go digging, right? Do some research, see what else is out there.
Oh, yeah. There's so many untold stories waiting to be discovered. And it's not just the past, either. It's happening right now, all around us.
Exactly. Every day. It's those people who step up, who make a difference, big or small, without expecting anything in return.
The ones who inspire us, even if we don't always realize it.
Like Regulus, he reminds us that real heroism, it's not always flashy. It's not about getting your name in lights. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's hard, even when it's dangerous.
And that's a powerful message, I think, because it means anyone can be a hero.
Exactly. You don't have to have superpowers or a fancy title. It's about the choices we make every day.
The small acts of kindness, the moments when we stand up for what's right, those are the things that really matter.
Yeah. It's about having the courage to be like Regulus, to fight for what you believe in, even when it seems like you're fighting a losing battle.
Because you never know who you might inspire or what kind of impact you might have on the world.
So to everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to look for the hidden heroes in your own life, to question the stories you've been told, and to believe that even the smallest act of courage can make a difference.
Because the world needs more Regulus Blacks, more people who are willing to stand up and fight for what they believe in, no matter the cost.
Thanks for joining us today. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep believing in the power